Hey guys, today here is my war number 6, and this is gonna be my first war getting to use that rank 4 Doom. Um, so yeah, first up we have a node 6 Jabari Panther with Moma, and Moma's, a great counter to Jabari, and he's Shakaman, so, perfect counter for this fight pretty much. I ended up playing really, really poorly here, but thankfully Moman is just such a good counter that it doesn't really matter. Um, I don't know why I didn't just dash in after the unstoppable. That was kind of dumb. But yeah, and the main thing he has going for him in this matchup is you can use those unstoppables from your block to actually get that. And then with how our cleanse lines up, you actually will get most of the bleeds. And here I thought the special ended. That was just kind of dumb to dash in. But thankfully Mo is tanky as fuck, so none of those mistakes really mattered, and we win the fight. And I don't need Mo for anything else, and no potion cost there. And yeah. Next up, we've got a long shot with Reed. Yeah, we just want to play it parry heavy, L2, and then L1. Due to Hurt Locker, you can't really stack up, what's it called? You can't really stack up all of 3 Reed debuffs. In this matchup, just due to Hurt Locker and the fight being over before you can really stack it up. But, you know, and with Power Focus too, it definitely makes it so it's a little bit harder to actually control his power. But if he does reach his L2, as long as you only hit him during stunned, you should not take the Incinerate damage. And yeah, about to throw my L2 here now. And then L1 is up next, and just gonna try and finish out the fight. Thanks to Defiance, he can't nullify any of these buffs for power gain, which is a nice touch for this fight. And yeah, just a pretty easy fight with Mr. Fantastic. Just taking it slow. And yeah, we throw RL1 right here just to get some extra debuffs for more damage. And yeah, fight is going down steadily, and it's about to be over. And yeah, we will gain a few more Reed debuffs for doing this fight, which is nice. The stun ends up expiring, so I only get 5 debuffs after this, but still gained a debuff anyway, which was nice. And yeah, next up we have a Man-Thing on 20, and this is my first fight using the R4 Doom. So yeah. Same basic Man-Thing strategy, parry immediately to get the masochism power buff thing, and then you bait the heavy, then you do your 5 hits, and this strategy makes it so he doesn't get to throw a special until you are already at your special 3, which removes some of the RNG from this fight. And yeah. So at this point, we're throwing our L3. We've got 6 charges on Hit Me I Dare You, so we're going to be able to do 3 hits and then go into our L1. And yeah. We get our Fury nullified, not the end of the world. We're going to go for another L3, of course. And wait for that UA timer. And we go into our L3. And due to it being the R4, instead of going for another L3 at this point, I'm just going to go into my L2s, and we're going to finish off the fight. And yeah. Pretty easy fight with Doom, especially now that he's at R4. Feels a lot smoother. And yeah. Pop off the first L2. We get a fair amount of power back there. And then on to my second L2, and he's just dead. So, yeah, pretty easy fight. Next up, we've got a Mixmaster Korg. I don't have a White Magneto pre-fight here. So it is going to be a little bit of a slower fight, because I'm going to have to be baiting heavies. But, I mean, it's Doom versus Korg. It's just a Korg. No matter what happens here, you're going to be able to get out with a solo. And, yeah. I missed the intercept there. Didn't really need to go for the intercept, but whatever. And, yeah, we just keep taking the fight slow like this. we will, of course, win the race of damage compared to his block damage, since Doom is tanky as fuck. And yeah. Just keeping attention to Mixmaster combos. And yeah, that's basically it here. And here we're trying to eat off these rock shields before we go into our L3 so we can get power back. I end up throwing my L3 just before the rock shield expires. Even though I did the hit, you have to wait a little bit to go into the L3. And I kind of forgot about this going into this matchup. So the first L3 we don't get the full damage on. Doesn't really matter. It just slows down the fight a little bit because I'm not going to be able to get to my L2 in time before the rock shields come back up, which is a little bit annoying. But yeah, not the end of the world. They come back up here. I throw my L2 in hopes that some of them will stick. And one of them does stick and gets me some decent damage, which is nice. I probably should have just saved for the L3 at that point, but yeah. And we throw our L1 again just to speed up getting to that L3. And yeah. Really slow fight, but it's a Korg, so, you know. You're very unlikely that you're gonna die to a fight like that. And there we go. Now we actually did the shield shatter thing. You can go into your medium because he's going to be stunned afterwards. You don't have to worry about that for the Mixmaster. So yeah. And the fight is pretty much over at this point. We're going to get pretty close to our L2. And yeah. Zoom versus Korg. I'm sure you guys have all seen this matchup a bunch of times. And yep, fight's over. And next up for this war, I have a 25 Nimrod with global down. I have to go back out, because it was still showing that, so I'm just backing out. Checking again. You see the final boss message deleted there, and yeah. Petrification Ray, I got all 3 read pre-fights on here. Just to help counteract a bunch of the annoyances here. And with Mystic Dispersion 5 and Mystic Power Bags, it should be a really easy fight, and honestly, I don't think there's any way Nimrod can kill you here. The L3 does have some burst damage, but since it's based on missing health, I really don't think it's going to be able to do enough to do any significant damage, and you're going to get constantly willpowered healed from all of his debuffs. And yeah, we go into our first L3. And yeah. Really, really easy fight with Doom. Mystic Dispersion and Mystic Power Backs just make everything easy. And yeah, we're already at our L3. You can see how much power I'm getting. I had practiced this in duels. I was meant to be slow playing that combo, and I didn't slow play it like I had been in duels, so I didn't end up getting to my L1 in time, but it didn't really matter. He had a slight chance to throw his L3, but I'm sure Doom would survive the L3 anyway if he did throw it, so not the end of the world. And yeah, we missed the L1 dexes, doesn't matter because it's Doom. And yeah, now we're just gonna go for our L3 and finish out the fight. Pretty easy fight with Doom, you know? Definitely the best counter, other than, like, maybe Corvus here. With Global Dawn, just really, really simple. You don't even have UA to worry about. And yeah, fight's over. And next up, we have a Professor X on Sadist. I'm going to be going for L2s here. And I'm going to be trying to intercept before them. Since I have Mr. Fantastic Synergy, my Incinerates will all have a pretty big boosted damage, and with the R4 and everything, it should be a very quick fight. My powers start 1, bleed it over. And yeah, we're going to immediately get an L2 with the Fury, which is nice. And you see, he's just already down to like 30%. But now he just doesn't throw his L1 forever. So I'm like, okay, maybe if we knock him down, he'll throw it, and he does not throw it. So I'm like, okay, I know why Professor X is doing this. It's because he doesn't want me to do the falter trick. So I bait the falter, and you see he immediately throws it. You know how that AI is, man. It's so annoying. Oh my god. And yeah, we go for an intercept with the special, and we end up hitting it, and the fight's just over at that point. So yeah, pretty easy fight. But yeah, AI is really, really annoying at this point. And then we've got this Nova. Pretty easy fight with Doom. You do your Doom cycle, and the fight will end. Not much to worry about, really. We go for an intercept. He gets the auto block there, but yeah, we just want to get him into his corner as the first priority. We eat that L1. Not a big deal. I mean, it's Doom. We take barely any damage from eating it. Took literally 6% damage. I think even less than that, because I don't think I entered with 100%. And yeah, just, you can see even from just my combos, I'm already dealing really good damage. So yeah, this is an easy fight with Doom. Very, very hard to mess this fight up. And yeah. Uh, excuse me. Gonna go into my second L3 and then just get ready to end the fight pretty much. We're gonna go for a special intercept, and we end up hitting it again. I'm getting more consistent with the special intercepts again. I used to be very good at them, and then I kind of just hadn't hit them in a while. But now I'm getting it down again. So yeah, we go for the special intercept here. I see the opening, and we get it, and yeah, that deals pretty much the rest of his health. Then we throw an L1, and yeah, finish the fight off with a heavy. Nice little 17,000 non-crit heavy. And then we've got a Warlock on this intercept node. And now Doom is great for this Warlock because he's both immune to Armor Break and Shock, which are the debuffs Warlock can apply to you. So he's not going to be able to heal block and power drain you and get the degen or any of that. You can't play Doom Cycle as you normally would because the infection can shut off your power drain, everything like that. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. And the armor buffs will give us some Mystic Dispersion. We just want to go for L2s mostly. Trying to get some intercepts. There we get a light intercept. He has the armor up, so I'm not going to get as much power back from this L2. But it's worth it to get that little chunk of damage first off. And yeah, you can see the fight's going down pretty smoothly. And we get a nice little intercept there, and this time the armor is down, so we get a lot of power back there. And then another L2, and this time the armor is up again, but he's down to 15% now. And here I am just baiting that L2. I couldn't go for the power drain because I had infection on me, which can actually stop the power drain again, so just needed to wait for him to throw a special rather than, Doom cycling. But yeah, pretty easy fight with Doom. And then up next we have this Hulkbuster on node 50. Magneto is banned, so we just had UA down, and then I'm gonna Doom it. And yeah. It's a fairly chill Doom fight. With the R4, this was a lot quicker than I had expected, honestly. Mystic Dispersion and Mystic Powerbacks helped a decent chunk here, to speed the fight up, since I had them on for the other fights I was doing. And yeah. Just want to cycle L1s and L2s, and the fight will be very easy to keep under control, Normally, Hulkbuster's armor-ups can get a little bit out of control with Doom in general. But if you are playing the fight with the L1 to L2 rotation, this will pretty much never happen, especially since I have Mr. Fantastic on the team. I'm going to get all those armor breaks, and yeah, it's going to be very hard for this fight to get out of control, and it's not actually going to be all that slow. I mean, obviously it's not as quick as like Magneto or something, but it's a pretty quick fight as far as Doom fights go. So yeah, I ate some hits here, just a mistake, but yeah. And another L2, and just he's taking a lot of damage from those incinerates. The reed synergy again really helps with the damage with those the increased damage from your incinerates from the reed synergy is really nice, along with the armor breaks, of course. So yeah. I thought the shock was still on, so I threw that heavy. It wasn't, but I mean, if he comboed into me, it's not like it would have mattered. And yeah, he dies pretty smoothly. Then we've got a Ghulk on 53. This Ghulk is a pretty slow fight, but I mean, it's Doom. It's a Ghulk, and we're going to be able to get pretty good damage whenever we turn off polka dot power. And yeah, I'm out of the glory potions, so I have to start using some of these, which kind of sucks, but yeah. I do have more comp packages to claim, so I'm not actually that low on potions. I just want to wait to claim them as long as I can, so yeah. Pop a PS1. I was trying to stretch this for Doom as well, but this fight ends up taking too long for me to be able to safely stretch it to the second fight. So I had to pop another one, but yeah, no big deal. And yeah, here I am, just using the shocks, and I'm going to use the power steel and all of that to get to my L2s. And the L2s, they will shut off stun reflection and give you a big chunk of damage. So yeah. I should have waited until Ghulk was at his L2 to throw my L1. Just a bit of a mistake there. And yeah, we're going to build him up to his L2 again. Throw my L1, and then we'll throw our L2. And then we'll be able to get pretty good damage off. And yeah, we get our L2 there. Get a really nice chunk of damage. So, you know, not that long into the fight, and he's already dropped down below 50%. So we're on good pace to win this fight. We got a little 15k heavy there, which was nice. And yeah, just keep baiting these heavies, throwing those L1s when he has high power. And yeah, pretty easy fight with Doom. I mean, not much I can really add about this fight. We bait that L2, and we're going to throw our L2, and that should pretty much end the fight. Get a chinky little intercept there. And the shocks give us the needed power to finish this fight off. And yeah, he's melting down there. And then we finish it off with a heavy. And yeah, now for my final fight of the war, this was the fight I was really worried about. It's a 55 Doom. And now, this node is pretty simple. You know, across the Doom fights, this node is definitely easier than Power Snack or the old Aggression Fury to Doom. But the thing is, there's just a lot of chip damage, so you can't really afford to make too many mistakes. And if the AI gets really passive, like it does in this fight, you're just going to be taking some damage. And it's really, really annoying how passive the AI gets here. And first off, we're just having connection issues, and, like, we're not loading in for a long time, which is annoying. I thought I was about to DC. I had just restarted my phone before this, so, like, I mean, not my phone. I had just restarted the game before this. So, like, there should be, like, a minimal chance of any DC or anything, and then we get these long connection issues, which is really, really annoying. And, yeah. We finally load into the fight now. And, yeah, I want to, get to a double Fury cycle is the ideal thing here, and just keep spamming L3s for the most part, because while you're in your L3 cycle, the fight just feels a little bit easier to keep under control. And we don't end up keeping these reed debuffs for too long. It's pretty hard to keep the reed debuffs up on a fight like this where you can't really get in heavies, but yeah. You don't really need the read debuffs for this fight. I just had the extra debuffs and I didn't need them anywhere else, so yeah. And then we get into our first L3. And like I said, I tried to play this fight a little bit greedy by going to the second L3 cycle. It would have probably been quicker if I had just gone L3, L2, and then repeated L3, L2. And I think next time I would do that, since on this node, the power isn't as much of a worry as it would be on, like, Power Snack. And I was trying to play this fight like it was Power Snack, but on node 55, it's kind of unnecessary to play that way, and I think it would have been safer to just go for the quicker fight by throwing my L3s. And yeah, here, I'm going to be able to use Mystic Dispersion 5 to push Doom to the L3, and we have it timed correctly so that I am actually going to be able to throw my L1 without getting hit back here. I probably should have slowed my combo here a little bit more just to be safe, but I knew I had the right timing, so I didn't need to do it. But yeah, as you can see there, a little bit tighter than you would want, and yeah. And so at this point, I pretty much decide I'm just gonna L3 cycle. I just L3 into L2, because with how passive the AI is being, I know I'm not going to get the double fury. So yeah. And I also have Read Synergy again. It's going to boost that damage of those incinerates pretty heavily. So my L2 should do a lot of damage. And yeah. Give some decent power back as well, so we're going to be able to get our power drain quicker. But yeah, the fight's pretty much over at this point. Just need to get an L2. But we're getting passive AI, because of course we're getting passive AI. And then we power drain, and then we get our L2, and the fight's over. So yeah, pretty solid war for me. 11 fights, first war with R4 Doom. Definitely feeling a little bit of a difference. Nothing huge, but it's nice to have the R4 Doom, though.